Whatever they admit to, set that aside. There is a black market problem, there is an illegal market problem, and that has caused people who deserve the care that they can be given to have to suffer. And that's really wrong. Imagine, and we don't live with chronic pain. We don't know what that's like. It absolutely destroys your life. And so what I pray for is an amazing innovation, something that will deal with people's pain in a way that doesn't cause the additional problems. But I also think that the federal government's crackdown on the black market and the illegal mixing of these drugs is so critical beyond this settlement. And that has to keep
this is a
going.
really interesting conversation, Katie, because in fact there are people who need pain medication, but at the same time we're talking public policy. And without a doubt, we've had an opioid epidemic. So how do you balance it? And are we at the point where we should be concerned about individuals who say, I need the medication, versus the large number of people who we know have become addicted, if not dying from the abuse of opioids?
Well, the first thing is that Dennis Prager's stepson's father, he talked about this on his radio show, committed suicide because he was not able to get proper opioid treatment for severe
So
pain.
painful, in pain.
And so there is a very serious consequence to overdoing it on one side. On the front end, they're assigning and prescribing these opioids and not thinking about what the consequences may be and telling people that they need them and over prescribing them. And so you have all these efforts to throw extras away if you didn't use all of them, to keep them out of the hands of kids, all that kind of thing. But the pharmacy companies are just the surface of this. I think they have to look at the insurance companies as well. Because when you go in to get an MRI now, and this has happened to someone I know, you go in to get an MRI, if you're too young or there's some reason they don't want to do it, they'll say, we know that you're in a lot of pain, you have to wait for 6 months, we're going to give you opioids until that period, and if you're still having a problem, then we will grant you the MRI, even though you have health insurance, or you can pay out of pocket for it. So
Wow.
The insurance companies aren't paying for things that would maybe fix the problem through some other means, and then the doctors are assigning opioids to people who will then take them and become addicted.
Jesse, where do you come out on this one?
The quality was a curse. These brilliant manufacturers at these pharmaceutical companies have these amazing scientists, and they poured hundreds of millions of dollars into R&D, and they created this perfect pill. It was so good, it was too good. And then it was overprescribed. You get into a car accident, here's a pill, you're back from Iraq and Afghanistan, here's a pill, your back hurts from working in a factory, here's 20 pills. And it was overprescribed, and it floods the market, especially the black market. It gets out on the street, and then everybody gets hooked and starts dying. So you can't put the genie back in the bottle because there is a legitimate need for it. So the only people that can solve it are the lawyers. So now lawyers on both sides of this are going to get so rich figuring this out. And the only way I can think about doing this are a few things. You go after these illicit distribution networks. There's like one small town, population 40 in West Virginia, and there's like a zillion pills in this one little pill mill. That's totally corrupt. You also have to limit the dosages and the purity and the quantity, because you don't need a quadrillion pills out there in America. You need to limit that to a certain extent. And I know this sounds corny, but there has to be an alternative, maybe non-Western healing method that's not a narcotic.
Vaping.
Not vaping. I'm not saying yoga, but there's got to be something that can maybe deter pain to a certain extent.
Marianne's on the line. She wants to talk to you.
I knew I was going to get hit for that.
Hey, Tom, I was just going to come to you and say that there's one state, Connecticut, that's refusing to join in the settlement. And guess what? They say they want more of the personal fortune that the Sacklers amassed put into this settlement. They say the Sacklers haven't put enough of their skin in the game. Are we making them into villains unfairly?
Yes, well, it's very easy. It's very easy to go after the usual suspects, round them up, and sue them. You know, they're going to make this deal. They're going to, everybody wants to settle these things because that's what you do. You want to get it out of the way. But I think that's not going to make the problem go away. I think we're all singing the same tune here. It is an overcorrection. We shouldn't overcorrect it. Doctors should not be afraid to prescribe pain medication. And so the crackdown is going to be worse than the epidemic itself because there are people who need these medications. Every time we talk about this, people tweet, "I'm in pain, please help support me." People feel very strongly about this.
Well, what's really troubling is that they are in pain. When you're in pain, you get desperate. When you're desperate, if you can't get it legally, you will find it illegally. And that's when you have this artificial counterfeit stuff coming in.
Exactly.
It's a terrible,
It's a tough one.
it's an important conversation for us all to have. Hollywood actress Deborah Messing is at it again.